Om. अजं निर्विकल्पं निराकारमेकं निरानन्दमानन्दमद्वैतपूर्णं परं निर्गुणं निर्विशेषं निरीहं परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम। परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। या श्रद्धा धारणा मेधा वाग्देवी वल्लभा सजित्वाग्रसदना क्षमादितायिनी न व्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्म तत्त्वं युवानं दर्शिष्टान्ते वसदृशिगणैरावृतैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचित्रमानन्दमूर्तिं स्वात्मारामं तवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिम् व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातराविभावे तेति तन्मयतया तरवो सर्वभूतहृदयं श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं धर्मालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं व्याप्तं जगत्येन चिदात्मभावात् रज्ज्वा यथा हि चराचरं यत् तन्यस्य सर्वस्य सदात्मभावे वयं समस्तयस्तु निस्सङ्गनिर्मुक्तिपदं प्रपद्य ब्रह्मात्मभावे
Get the coffee.
श्रीसौम्यकाशीशमहेश्वराय नै नमः स्वामिकाय समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं मामि चिन्मयं देवं वन्दे तेजोमयं नित्यं गुरुं ज्ञानप्रभाकरं यस्यैककिरणादेव विद्यातमः सदा जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृतां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परम् धर्मप्रोज्झितकैटवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यते प्रकृतिभिः तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं भागवतं रसमालये नमो रसिकाः श्रीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बराधर्मबिम्बफलाधरूष्टात् परं किमपि तत् परमहंसास्वादितचरणकमलमानसनिवासाय Hari Om, thank you for joining me as we continue our exploration of Canto 8, Srimad Bhagavatam. This canto we had seen, the theme is Sadharma. And by Sadharma, we mean that dharma which leads us to oneness with Tatsvarupa, with that pure existence, with reality. And in that, we see the different leelas that are described, so different paths to reach them. So the story of Swayambhu Manu shows the path of jnana, how directly through knowledge, contemplation on the words of the scriptures, he attained that. Then the story of Gajendra shows the bhakti marga. And now we come to the third story. This is the story of Samudra Manthan. And we have to take this actually in combination with the next story, which is Vamana Avatar. Together, they form a very beautiful whole, and that shows the path of yoga. Ashtanga Yoga or Hatha Yoga. That path actually is symbolized through these, in my view. So let us start. Because see, after Swayambhu different manvantaras are being described, right? So now, as they describe, they come to one manvantara, forgetting which one, I think Raivata manvantara, where this Leela takes place. The Ajita avatar of Bhagavan. We say Bhagavan during Samudra Manthanam, two important avatars are there. No, four avatars are there. It's such an important Leela. Four different avatars of Bhagavan in the same Leela. Okay. One, the first is Ajita Avatara. Second is Kurma Avatara. The third is Dhanvantari Avatara. And the fourth is Mohini Avatara. This Leela also has a special place for us because for us, as in my family, because Mohini is also known as Mahalasa, is the Kula Devi of my wife's side. Please say. So now we begin with the story. And the story begins as usual. The Indradi Devatas are in heaven, they are very comfortable. Anna, please call Rangapati. Indradi Devatas are in heaven, very comfortable, they are ruling. But Indra has become arrogant, as usual. Last time we saw he insulted his Guru Brihaspati. That led to so many problems. This time Indra, see, remember, it's not always the same person. Indra is the post. This Indra insulted Durvasa Rishi. I think something like Durvasa Rishi brought one garland, beautiful garland made of Parijata flowers. Thought, okay, let me give it to Indra, and he went and gave. Now, respectfully, Indra should have bowed his head and received it. He didn't. He just took it with his hand like that and put it on the side. On the side, he thought some attendant will be there. As it happened, when elephant was there, he put it on that elephant's tongue. Now that Parijata flowers, they were so fragrant and beautiful that the there were bees that were buzzing around, and that he has put on the elephant's tusk. So the bees started irritating the elephant. So the elephant got upset and started shaking around and ruined that mala completely. Obviously, Durvasa Rishi got very irritated, very offended, and he cursed Indra that Indra and Devatas will become very weak. They will lose all their physical vitality. They all got BP, sugar, everything, and they started getting thrashed like anything by the Devatas. Sorry, by the Asuras. Asuras were led by Mahabali, who is, by the way, the grandson of Prahlada. He was the king of the Asuras, and he defeated Indra, thrashed them, sent them running. So now, what do? Every time they mess up like this, Indra and the Devatas ran to Brahmaji. Then Brahmaji said, oh, what is the use of coming to me? Now we should worship Bhagavan. They all worship Bhagavan, and beautiful stotram is there, long word. You can read, very nice one. And then Bhagavan appears. But Bhagavan doesn't appear in a particular form. He appears in the form of some dazzling light, such that they are not able to make out his form at all. And he says, see, every time I cannot be coming and doing things. You have to learn to help yourself. What you do right now, such a time is such that the Devatas are weak and the Asuras have got the upper hand. So you make a truce with them, make peace with them, and take up a project together. That project is you go and churn the ocean of milk. Okay. And from that, various things will come out. So you strike a deal with the Asuras. Let them, whatever conditions they put, you accept. And when you churn like that, finally, when Amritam will come out, I will make sure that Amritam comes to you and you will become strong and healthy again. So, okay. Bhagavan said, see, three things are there here. We have to know. Okay. One, whatever the Asuras say, accept their deal. Second, various things will come out. Don't get scared by them. Don't get tempted by them. Don't get attached to them. Don't become greedy. Keep your eyes on the goal. Okay. And yeah, that was the truth. Then said, okay, no go. So Indra went and he was very good in negotiating. He negotiated with Bali Maharaja and he negotiated with Mahabali and he he made the deal. So getting little lost. So they made the deal. And what happened is they together started to lift Mandara mountain, bring it as the churning rod. Now this mountain was very heavy. They were able to carry it part of the way, but then their strength failed. They dropped the mountain. Many of them got crushed under it. Asuras and Devatas both. So then Bhagavan came. This is Ajita Avatar of Bhagavan. He came on Garuda. It's just like just a game. With one hand, he picked up that mountain and kept it on Garuda. Then he climbed and sat on top of the mountain, and Garuda flew straight to the Kshiravni and placed the mountain in the ocean. Now we need a rope. So Vasuki is the younger brother of Adisesha. He was brought and wrapped around the mountain, and they had to start churning. Now there was the argument. Asura said, we will not take the tail end. We will take only the head end. Because tail, what is it? This was inauspicious. Back end of the snake. Devatas first said, no, we'll hold the head. We are the Devatas. But then Bhagavan looked at them and said, remember what I said? Because remember, it is a snake. If any poison comes out, it will not come from the tail. Asura said, yes. Okay, we'll take the tail. They took the tail. Devata said, yes, we'll take the tail. They took the tail. Asuras took the head. And they started churning. When they started churning, what happened is that mountain started sinking into the ocean. So then Bhagavan took Kurmavatar as the tortoise, went under the water, supported that mountain on his back and held it. And then they continued to churn. And when it was churning, it says that rubbing of the base of the mountain on Bhagavan's back felt very nice. It was like, somebody comes and touches your back nicely, enjoying it. and then Now it was not going down. It started going up. Then Bhagavan Ajita went and sat on top and kept it balanced to avoid it going down. At the bottom was Kurma. So another two avatars. Okay. And then they were churning. But then that Vasuki, was so stressed as they, and so much of force was being put, all the poison of that snake started. The, both the Devatas and Asuras became weak and started fainting. Yep, it came from the mouth, but even the fumes of that made the Asuras, Devatas weak. So then, Bhagavan only came and he started pulling and churning the whole. And as they churned, now the first thing that came out was, poison. Kalakuta Visham. That poison, what do we do? So Bhagavan said, let us approach Lord Shiva and ask his help. They all prayed to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva took the poison. We all know the story. He drank it, but he didn't swallow it fully. He kept it in his throat, and that's how he became Neelakantha. Right? Then what happens? They continue churning. Various things start coming out. Surabhi, the divine cow, then Airavat, the elephant, Kaustubamani, and various things come out, right? One by one. Some the Asuras take, some the Devatas take, some Bhagavan takes. And then came Lakshmi Devi. When Lakshmi Devi came, everybody wanted her. All the rishis went and they welcomed her, did a beautiful puja, Abhishekam, Ganga, Yamuna, all the rivers came together and offered their water for Abhishek Devi. Samudra Devata gave one silk sari that she wore. And that Mahalakshmi was then looking around to see who is the suitable person for me to be with, who is the right partner for me. All the Devatas also, Asuras also, everybody wanted her. They all wanted Lakshmi. But she looked at each one and said, no, this one, each one some good qualities she saw, but then she saw that there was also some bad qualities. Somewhere there is wisdom, but there is no vairagya. There is learning of scriptures, but there is no practical application of that. Or there are very good qualities like vairagya and all that, but then that person is unhealthy. So various short. Finally, looking around, there was only one person who was not at all interested, who was very tired after doing all this churning, and who went and lay down on the side, take a rest. That was Bhagavan Mahavishnu. And she saw him there and she said, this is the person who had all the good qualities. In his sleep only she went and took the mala. And so actually, this Lakshmi Narayan Vivaha, Bhagavan got married in his sleep only. And then how the churning continued. And the next one that came out was Bhagavan Dhanvantari, so the third avatar, right? And he came with the Amrita Kalasha. So the moment he came out with the Amritam, the Asuras were smart. They had planned ahead. They just left everything, ran, grabbed that Kalasha from him and ran away with the Amrita. But the problem with Asuras is this. They took the Amrita, but they did not have, once the Amrita was in their hand, they did not have unity amongst them. So they started fighting who will get first, who will get more. In that, the weaker Asuras started playing games with the rules and saying, no, it is not fair. Even Devatas help, they should also be given shares, so you can't take everything. That was a way to stop the other Asuras from taking. So they were arguing amongst themselves. And Indrajit Devatas did not know what to do. What do they? They asked Bhagavan for help. One said, watch, see what happens. And next Avatara came. There was a beautiful woman, more beautiful than Lakshmi Devi also. Beautiful, very attractive, very, the word is actually sexy, came there. And from the distance, Asuras saw. They, immediately they got distracted from the Amrita. They ran to her. Said, "Who are you?" They said, we are all from very good family and will come with us." And he said, "First of all, don't get so excited by seeing a girl, okay? This some quality. Does it calm down? What is the issue?" They said, "No, we are actually arguing among ourselves. We have got this Amritam. Now you tell us who should take it. You only decide. So whatever I decide, you'll agree." "Yeah, yeah, we'll agree. Don't worry." Arey, you should not trust strangers like this. You trust your face, you are you cheat us. Okay, go and sit down. So they all went and sat in one room. Then she told the Devatas also to sit in one room. They also sat. And took the Amritam, went to the first Asura, smiled nicely, and put the Amritam on that side. The Asura is this side getting the smile, Devata is that side getting the Amritam. And that empty cup that Asura, hey, as though he has got. Yeah, because he got a chance to look into Bhagavan's eyes. What later Amritam is there. So like that, one by one, all the Devatas got, Asuras got only the smile of her. And that smile, remember, Haso Janon Mada Kari Cha Maya. That Bhagavan's smile is Maya, which bewilders everyone. Those Asuras were bewildered and they didn't get. Except we know the story, Rahu Ketu were there, who sat on the Devata's side. There were two Asuras who sat on the Devata's side. And they nicely got the Amritam. But just as they were about to drink, Surya and Chandra got a dog and immediately beheaded them. But those guys had put it in their mouth. Before they could swallow, they were beheaded. So the Amritam fell out. There's a belief that Amritam that fell out fell on the ground. Then those plants that grew there, they had that Amrita Amsha as well as the Asura Amsha. They had been swallowed by Rahu Ketu. Those plants were Vengayam, onion, garlic, and all that, which are very healthy, but they have that quality of Rajas Tamas, which is why we are told to avoid having, or to have in extreme moderation. Anyway, now these Rahu Ketu, their heads had taken the Amritam, so they became immortal. The head part alone. And they keep going and swallowing the sun and the moon. That leads to the eclipses. But because once they swallow, there's no body, so it comes out from the other side. So the sun is seen again after the eclipse. Okay. There is, after everything, Mohini withdraws that form and shows herself to be Narayana. And Acha, there is other way. Okay. Rahu is the head and Ketu is the tail of the one being. I've heard it the other way, but you may be right. It doesn't it's just one kind of side note to the story. So yeah. So now Devatas have got their Amritam. Asuras have been thoroughly cheated. Bhagavan withdrew. Then what happened is immediately, obviously, a fight started between them. There's a huge war right there on the shores of Kshira for a long time. And there also Bhagavan had to come and help many times. And finally, the Devatas prevailed. They defeated the Asuras, and the Mahabali and the Asuras were vanquished, but not all killed. Okay. So this much is the story. And Indra became the king of heaven. Now we have to look at the symbolism of it because that's what matters. Right? Devatas obviously represent our positive aspects of our mind. Asuras represent our negativity. They are in constant conflict. If the Devatas become too arrogant, too proud, then they become weak. Then the Asura forces become strong and they start dominating. And then that creates problems, that creates suffering. Then what do we do? We turn to Brahmaji, the intellect. The intellect says that finally we have to seek Bhagavan, because that Atma within, that purity, that Ananda within is the most purifying thing, which will help us overcome all the other suffering. And so they appeal to Bhagavan. But to attain that Bhagavad Swarupa is not so easy. So that first glimpse is so dazzlingly bright that we cannot see or understand anything. So the whole, because we are not yet pure enough, we are not yet ready to hold that experience. So for that, sadhana is required. That Mandara mountain has to be, first of all, the truth has to be strong, right? Because we cannot completely overcome the negativities just like that. They are very strong. So we have to convince them to take part in the sadhana with us. By telling them that, you will get so many benefits as we grow spiritually, you will become healthy, you will become strong, you will become famous, people will look up to you, you will be loved, all whatever you, and somehow convince and bring along those parts of our mind also, so that we are able to wholeheartedly take up the sadhana. Then what has to be done is that Mandara mountain has to be brought. That mountain represents our attention, our concentration, our focus. Our focus is always somewhere else, over in here with Shirapi. But with great effort, we have to bring, but we are not able to fully bring it. But even the process of trying to bring crushes so many asuras, so many devatas. That is, the mind starts becoming purified. Then with Bhagavan's help, and remember, Bhagavan takes it on the back of Garuda. Garuda is the Shastra. So at a time like this, Bhagavatam or other Shastras, Upanishads, give us those mantras which are so beautiful, so powerful that they pull our attention with it. And easily it is taken to the Kshira. Now the churning starts. For that, the rope used is prana. That Vasuki represents our prana, our breath, our energies. But our prana also is not in control, it is not very pure. So that also has its own impurities that start coming out in the form of poison. So, when you start feeling sleepy during meditation, or we are not, or it's yoga marga, various asana, pranayama, everything has to be done, then we are not able to do those perfectly. There are misalignments, there are tensions in the body, all that slowly has to be overcome. Then the real churning starts in dhyana. But what happens first? That mountain starts going down. That is our attention starts moving down, but all our negativity start getting weighed on. I'm so useless, I'm so horrible. Look at all the filth in my mind. Then Bhagavan has to come and hold it. But sometimes the attention starts going up and we start saying, oh, I am so wonderful and I'm so great. Bhagavan has to bring us down to earth. Keep us in a state of equilibrium. And then actually who is doing the sadhana? Bhagavan is inside all the devatas, asuras, everything, and he is the sadhana also. And the Visha starts to talk. That Visha, Kala Puta, all the negativities over time that have been gathered there. What do we do with it? What can we do with it? So we run to Guruji, help me. We run to the Sadguru, and the Guru takes it. Whatever nonsense we go and give that patient, the smile. And see how the beauty of it, he doesn't swallow it. That means it doesn't enter into him and poison him. He remains aloof. He doesn't reject it also. But he keeps it in his throat. The throat is the center of speech. The throat is the center of communication, right? So that when these Mahatmas listen to all the different problems from everybody, so much of suffering, so much of negativity, everything is coming to them. What do they do with it? They hold it and they use it to inform their teaching. When they speak, when they teach, it comes from a place of understanding our suffering and our pain. That is what holding the Guru, holding our suffering in their throat. And that's why we feel, that he understands me so perfectly. That sometimes when they speak, what comes out will be exactly what we need to hear at that time. So then the work continues. And different things start coming out. Some power, some siddhi, some fame, some all sorts of things. Right? Bhagavan has said, don't get attached to it. Sometimes the Asura side will run after something, the Devata side will run after something. Some things are there which take us closer and closer towards Bhagavan. Then finally, the Lakshmi Devi comes. Lakshmi Devi here represents not just any other kind. In Ashtalakshmi, the first Lakshmi is Adi Lakshmi, that Lakshmi which is that wealth which is the Adi Purusha, Adi Vastu, that truth. So she represents moksha. So naturally she takes a place in Bhagavan's heart, waiting for us. Now, Dhanvantari Bhagavan comes with the Amrita. This Amrita, what the Amrita of the Devatas, we saw in Bhagavatam Mahatmyam also, Devatas tried to give that Amrita in exchange and take Bhagavata Amrita. And Shukadevji said nothing to it. Because this is Amrita that gives you immortality physically. That is, it represents good health, vitality, strength, strength, all those things, youth, vigor. It is not that Amrita of knowledge. It is not Jnanamrita, not Premamrita. That's why Dhanvantari Bhagavan is considered the Acharya of Ayurveda. What does Ayurveda give us? It gives us good health. It does not give us mukti. Now, Asuras try to run away with that. Because that's a temptation. As that state of wellness that and vitality comes, it draws attention, it draws the admiration and respect of people. Then the Asuras will, that part of that mind is there, which will want to exploit it. Will want to use it for all the wrong reasons. And so people get carried away with temptation and become, fake sadhus and things like that also. So that is the Asuras running away. But then Bhagavan takes Mohini Avatara. Mohini represents that part of us which is able to control the Asuras, able to hold our negativities in control, check, somehow staying and doing things that keep them calm and within their limit, while strengthening the Deva. So this is the essential mind work that we have to strengthen the Devatas, keep feeding them Amrita, and slowly just keep the Asuras in check. Now, once the Devatas are strong enough, then Bhagavan withdraws and the Devatas and Asuras clash, and the Devatas are victorious. The game is still not over. The game is still not over because this is all within the mind. Now, the mind has become pure, but Ahankara has not yet gone. Right? That ego is still there. So how do we deal with that ego? How do we come? First, finally, we have to go beyond Sattva also. We have to go beyond all aspects of the mind. So that part of it, part 2 of the story, which is the story of Vamanavatara and Mahabali. Right? So this is an essential overview of the symbolism of Samudra. Now, each of the things that came out of the ocean, we can look at the symbolism of it, what it means that it was taken by this was taken by Indra, this was taken by the Asuras, etc. That we have to see. And then we have to recognize each of these things as they manifest in our lives on our spiritual path and use this to guide us deal with each other, and keep our goal on the ultimate Amrita. This is a temporary solution for purifying the mind. But once the mind is purified, that mind has to be offered to Bhagavan. That is the story of Mahabali offering the third step that we'll see next session. Okay. Anything anybody would like to share? Any corrections, any thoughts, any alternate symbolism? Any? No? Then I will do the closing prayers. Namada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Asya Purnamadaya Eva Vashishyate Shanti 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 Harihi Namada Harihi Om तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तान् सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तितस्वधाम्ना श्रवणत्वकादीन्द्राणाम् कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृतिभावात् यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे जीवन स्मरणं गोविन्दा Thank you all very much, and 2 weeks from now, have a wonderful.
Thanks, Master Hari.